let's keep moving on. You talk about decision making as well, and again, you cite like numerous studies throughout this book. One study that you cited was how men. It was a conclusion of a neuroscientist who said that men are more eager to take risks, but women have a more practical approach. What are your thoughts on that study? And do you agree with that?
Well, I would say that I mean, not that really sort of gets to the heart of the findings of that study, but I think that especially in times of crisis or when the stakes are high, men are more likely to take risk. And this idea that there are various ways to look at risk taking. Obviously, to be a successful entrepreneur in any business, you need to take some risk, but you want to take thoughtful risk that's based on data, not on instinct, not on impulse, or not based on your commitment to a plan that you made a year ago that may not be as relevant as it used to be. There's an interesting study of the performance of female-led banks during the financial crisis, regional banks, and it's actually fairly easy to compare regional banks and how they fared during the financial crisis. And what they found is that the female-led banks outperformed the male-led banks. They were trying to understand why. Was there something women did during the financial crisis to better manage the outcomes for their banks? And in fact, it came back to the risk taking. Yep. Leading up to the financial crisis, in that time, male-led banks were taking bigger risks with their funds, with their approaches, whereas the female leaders were more cautious. And I think that's the thing. It's like this idea of being adaptable, but also being prepared and not taking too many risks going into something is really essential. There's another piece of this that plays into the risk-taking and decision-making in times of crisis that I think is really essential. And that is taking a communal approach to decision-making. And the archetype of male leadership is top-down, hierarchical. I'm making the decision in the corner office, and I'm going to delegate it to my team. Women are far more likely to take a communal approach to management, pulling on perspectives from across their organization. And I would say, especially in times of heightened uncertainty or crisis, that approach, a communal approach, is going to serve you in good stead. And that's because things are changing quickly. Thinking about the pandemic, situations were so varied across the country. The leaders who leveraged the perspectives of their teams were going to be a lot more effective because you couldn't possibly understand what was going on by being alone in your office or isolated in your home. And so I think that risk-taking and heightened risk-taking also plays into the value of the alternative, which is relying on the data and the input of others as well.